In the next two videos, we will talk about the nervous system and the brain. Before we get into the nervous system, let me just show you a picture of the complexity of the brain across different animals. As you can see from the image, humans, chimpanzees, and dolphins seem to have a much more developed brain, and in fact, their frontal cortex are more complex compared to other animals. We will talk more about the brain in the next video. Now that we have learned about neurons, we will now learn about how it functions in the nervous system. The nervous system is called the body's communication network, so it is in charge of conveying information throughout the body. There are two major divisions. The first one is called the central nervous system. It is made up of the brain and the spinal cord. The next one is called the peripheral nervous system, so it connects the central nervous system to the body's organs and glands. If you have watched the video, you may recall me demonstrating the candle reflex. So it is associated with processing sensory information. And in fact, the central nervous system is in charge of this. And then it will send the signals out to the peripheral nervous system to produce actions, so like movement and reflexes are also involved. Another key component in the central nervous system will be the spinal cord, which is important in connecting the brain to the sensory and motor neurons. The spinal cord can be divided into four main sections, and each controls different parts of the body. If your spinal cord is damaged, you may cause mobility issues, and it was found that damage to the higher parts of your spinal cord usually have greater impairment. The peripheral nervous system is another division of the nervous system. It connects the central nervous system to our body. There are two other divisions. The first one is the somatic nervous system. This is involved in voluntary actions, so it requires awareness and consciousness, and can help us produce movement of muscles like dancing. And for the autonomic nervous system, it is unlike the somatic one. It is involved in involuntary actions, so it doesn't require awareness and consciousness, and will control our body organs and glands. So here's the tricky part, because the autonomic nervous system can be further divided into two more subdivisions. The first one is the sympathetic nervous system, which prepares our body to fight with stress. Follow me here with the figure. On the left side is the sympathetic nervous system. As you can see in the figure, when you are stressed, your heart rate will go up, and then your digestive system will go down. And the next one is the parasympathetic nervous system. So it can help your body return back to normal, so you may relax. And then see the figure, you may notice that your heart rate will slow down, and then your digestive activity will go up. Here is an overview of our nervous system. So it consists of the central nervous system and then the peripheral one. The central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral one can be further broken down to the somatic and autonomic. So the somatic one is in charge for voluntary movements, like clapping your hands and then walking around. Then for the autonomic one is in charge for involuntary actions, like digesting food. Then when we further break down the autonomic nervous system, we can broken down into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So for the sympathetic one is in charge of stress, and then parasympathetic is in charge for relaxing the body down. Here is an activity for you, so please try to link the four pictures to the different peripheral nervous system. So the bottom picture shows digestion, the second one shows dancing ballet, and then the third one is being stressed, and the final one is to relax. So please give it a try by pausing the video. Then I will show you the answers on the next slide. Let's see whether you are able to link up to the correct name. So for digestion, because it is an involuntary action, so the autonomic nervous system is in charge of this. Then for dancing ballet, so this one is the somatic nervous system because it is voluntary movements. Then feeling stressed is part of the sympathetic nervous system, and then relaxing at the beach would be parasympathetic nervous system. I hope you have enjoyed learning different nervous systems with me in this video, and in the next video we will talk about different brain structures. See you in the next video.